The digital newsroom is changing. Every day there are newsrooms closing, new ventures starting up, and changes in the way we provide, share and manage the news around us. Social media is proving to be a catalyst in sculpting our societies, from events in the Arab Spring to breaking news of some of the world's most well-known individuals. New technology and innovation is allowing us to curate, share and present the news we create and consume more creatively and efficiently than ever before. We have seen long-form journalism steadily flourish under the new platforms and live news feeds becoming increasingly popular among mainstream news sites. Financing the journalism we create has taken many routes: paywalls, subscription, pay-per issue, advertorials and interactive advertising to name a few. But with these varying methods of manufacturing and consuming our news, facing an exciting but uncertain future, the question remains: what is the digital newsroom?
Good afternoon and welcome to Group 19's digital discussion about what the digital newsroom is to us. As you've heard in our introduction, all the main bits, so let's get right to it. Jake, what is the digital newsroom to you?
Well, for me, I really think we're beginning to see the death of long-form journalism. I think it's really having a resurgence today. And there's a few reasons why I think that is. I think the first reason is there's a lot more technology now, and we can sort of formulate that news in a more dynamic and more creative way than ever before, especially with things like iPads and tablets and mobile devices. Another reason is the rise of social recommendations. So, we can share this news and we can say, oh, this is a really good piece of journalism, you should read it. And the final reason why I think it's really making a comeback is things like Read It Later, where you can actually store this news, and you can curate it and you can sort of save it until you have a train journey or a spare bit of time and read it then.
Do you think people want to read old news though?
I think that's a really good question. I mean, what the question is, what's the lifeline of news? But I think, personally, I think that the longer the article is, the longer the lifeline, because it has more depth, has more context, there's deeper issues that it addresses. So I think there's been a study recently that looking into what kind of time period people consume in the long form news, and some people save it for up to a year and they read it a year later. So it does show that it maybe not 5 years, but at least up to a year. I think it can be consumed in that time. So yeah, I think we begin to see a lot of personalisation. I know, Sasha, you think that it's becoming a lot more personalised, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that that's what the digital newsroom is all about. It's all about news personalisation. It could be through apps or through websites. But I found that over 76% of people use the internet to access the news, and then this, of course, makes it extremely easy to personalise what you see. For example, on the Google News website, there's sliders which you can choose what categories of news you want to see, and also what news organisations you want to see those articles from. So you have full control over what you read and what you're interested in. There's no need for the news to be boring or disinteresting to us anymore. The Daily Mail iPhone app as well, that allows the users to choose 4 categories which they're interested in. There's like showbiz, world and sport news, and there's even like a section just on Indian news. And there are 16 categories in total, so you can choose exactly what you want to read about. In a survey that I did, I found that 75% of people personalise their news intake, and 86% of those people used apps to do that as well. Do you think that because more people are using the internet and apps to access the news and things, do you think that gives readers more freedom to give their comment and opinion?
Well, for me personally, the way people can comment and interact with news is the biggest part of the digital newsroom. I mean, the BBC and many other news outlets have added comment sections to their web pages so that when a story breaks, users are given the chance to give their own personal opinion on the story. I think this is great and it has many positive aspects because it allows users a platform to give their thoughts and therefore potentially allow other users to see the story from a different perspective when reading other people's opinions. Also, the comment section of a website can also allow stories to become an interactive discussion, with many users seeing it as a debate and an opportunity to discuss, with each other, their opinions and give the reasons for why they think that. Social media such as Twitter and Facebook has had huge influence on why people can comment and interact with news. News establishments all have Twitter accounts where they'll tweet like stories to their list of followers, which is growing all the time. And interaction facilities within Twitter allow users to retweet this information to their own followers and also tweet back their own opinions using like certain hashtags, which will like categorise the story, which will and then everyone can like click on the hashtag and it'll be relating solely to the subject. Similar to Twitter, Facebook also engages news corporations with users and allows feedback and interaction to a story. News corporations such as Sky News and BBC News have created a Facebook page where they'll update their statuses with breaking headlines, and then Facebook users can comment on this, basically similar to like comment sections of a website, and give their opinions. And then Twitter and Facebook often extract the comments made by users and put it on their website, giving like other people a chance to see what people think. So overall, I think that social media has benefited like users, but does it benefit journalists, allowing people can help people engage in news stories?
I think it's a huge benefit for journalists. I think 28% of journalists in the UK said they wouldn't be able to carry out their work without social media, and up to 40% said it's increased their actual productivity. And then most of the tweets, 92% I think it was, contain links. So it not only does it give them an opportunity to get their opinion across, it gives them an opportunity to link people to their work on their own websites, which gives an in-depth analysis of what their opinion is. Also, you said about hashtags, it means anyone can access their work, not just people that follow them. I think that's equally important, just such an easy way to get their opinion across to everyone on Twitter or Facebook. As I said, it's equally important, and especially for sports journalists, because it's a great opportunity for them to share their opinion and create debate amongst fans. And creates news, it creates news for journalists, not just a platform for them to get their point across. Because it's like recently, it's been Ashley Cole and Lewis Hamilton who have tweeted things which they shouldn't have said. So it creates news for what they can write about and stuff. And then also, it's most important, it's really fast. It's like newspapers, radios, they can't get the news out as fast as Twitter, like live streams on such things like BBC Sport. So that's just as important, and it's also people can retweet journalist tweets, so not just their followers again, but anyone can see it, like other people's followers. So it's another easy way to get their work across the whole of, well, basically the internet, which is a massive platform. So speaking of retweets, how do you feel about news being spread?
Well, I believe that the ease of news being spread is the most important aspect to what the digital newsroom is, rather. That's what separates it from any other media out there, I believe. The big buzzword in the past 4 years has been things going viral with regards to viral news and viral videos, bulldog on a skateboard. But with regards to news, the spread of it is just so easy now thanks to the digital newsroom. Excuse me. Carol Huang of the national newspaper, which is based in the Arab states, reported that the two biggest hashtags last year were Egypt and protest. These two hashtags started trending amongst so many people. This story spread so quickly and so vast in such a short space of time, which no other platform could do, I believe. I think it's absolutely fascinating. Another website called HamptonRoads.com has got an absolutely startling, and I'll put it link up, a startling and quite a moving example of how news can spread. During the Aura shootings earlier this year, I believe, lots of people started tweeting about it, and this website shows how the story broke out originally. It's got people saying, "Oh, I can't wait for the film," and then it goes to, "I can hear screaming, I can hear shooting, I can hear sirens, police coming in, I can see bodies." These tweets start flooding in, and we get hashtags of things such as The Dark Knight Rises and hashtags of the Aura Cinema, for example. CNN pick up on this, and they tweet this story to 6 million followers. So already that story has become massive and viral in such a short space of time. So yeah, I believe that is massive to the digital newsroom. Just to finish off,
Do you think, Bobby, that as news is becoming more widespread,
Yeah.
do you think that there's money to be made in it, or do you think that there's advertisers thinking, "Oh, hang on a minute, how do we know people are going to your website or your newspaper to get the news?"
I believe there's money to be made, not probably as much as a paywall, but even if you make a little bit of money through advertising, the amount of traffic you're going to get coming to your website, which is not blocked by a paywall, I believe would counteract the relatively little money you make as a result of that. Just to finish off, really, Professor Sudha Ram of the University of Arizona, my favourite university, said in a study that retweets tend to occur between 10 to 72 hours after the original story broke out. So my Dark Knight Rises example, okay, how that story became massive, several hours. If that went on for 72 hours, how many people would be affected by that story in such a short space of time? So that, to us, really is what the digital newsroom is. All being well, you'll be able to hear this via podcast if I get our microphone working. And thank you very much. All links will be available below.